Turn up the radio and sing along. It's time for another great song. This is the Great Song Podcast.
Season's greetings and welcome once again to the Great Song Podcast. I'm Rob Alley.
I am JP Mosier.
And we're here breaking down the greatest songs in modern music history. We're going to tell you what makes them great, why we think they're awesome, and why you should too. JP, how you doing today, man?
I am doing fantastic. We got a special guest with us today.
Tell us who it is.
Joseph Tag Abbott, Joey Abbott.
Yes, sir.
Monkees aficionado.
Monkees.
Well, but the primate only.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Knows
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
about the animal.
If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey. It's an ape.
Yeah, I
That's
looked
what
that
learned
up.
from
I was like,
VeggieTales.
what's the difference between them? It's like, well, easily just, does it have a tail? Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that simple.
But
And
that's the extent of my knowledge. Am I done?
And we have...
bye.
Thanks for coming,
Thanks
Joey.
for coming by.
This has been
by.
great. Thanks for having me.
I brought a prize of unspeakable value
Whoa.
for our special guest.
Oh.
As y'all may or may not know out there in podcast land, I'm a collector of baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards,
Who
and
collects football cards, honestly?
this guy,
Yeah.
hockey cards. I have a Desert Storm set. No, but
Do they
digging
make
deep,
hockey cards?
digging deep into the barrel of goodness, I have a Mickey Dolenz
Oh, wow.
rookie card.
What in
Y'all
the
on the
world?
air cannot see this, but maybe we'll post a picture. And that is for our special guest today.
Wow.
There's a Mickey Dolenz card
So
because
youthful.
today we are talking about... Joey, tell them what song we're talking about today on the Great Song.
We are talking about Pleasant Valley Sunday.
Oh,
That's,
man.
That's
The
correct.
Monkees great. Wow.
Let's,
This is some
let's
card.
Rob, play a little sampling of Pleasant Valley Sunday. For
hop
those.
right into it.
The local rock group down the street is trying hard to learn their song. Serenade the weekend squire who just came out to mow his lawn. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday. Charcoal burning everywhere. Rows of houses that are all the same, and no one seems to care.
Man, nobody seems to care.
That's right.
No one. The kids just don't understand, you know? Pleasant Valley Sunday by the Monkees, not written by the Monkees.
True.
Written by, we'll get into it later, but written by Jerry Goffin and Carole King. But most notably by the Monkees from the 1967 album Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones. Originally released as a single only. Like, it's a different, well, actually, now that I think about it, we've kind of gotten back to that.
People are starting to do singles now.
Where you might just release a single now. And
John
then,
Mayer just did it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he doesn't have an album. Just
Yet.
here's a song, guys. And then, that was much more popular back in this era. You would just put out a single, and then maybe if the single floated, then you would go, put an album behind it. But this was released as a single only with the B-side Words. And Pleasant Valley Sunday reached number 3 on the Billboard charts, and the B-side Words got considerable airplay as well, and ended up topping at number 11 on the Billboard charts. Produced by Chip Douglas, who was sort of he's kind of the fifth Monkee, almost.
We'll touch on that and meet the band.
Unofficially. Yeah. Oh, don't want to give too much away.
Oh, teaser.
Don't want to.
Yeah. I've got some notes about old Chip.
Do you now? I can't wait. Chip off the old Douglas.
I don't think that's a thing.
No, definitely not a thing. Recorded at RCA Victor Studio A, Hollywood, California, in June of 1967. And there's actually a really cool website that I found in the middle of all this that basically tracks the Monkees' career day by day in real time.
Oh, that's cool.
So you go in there and they're like, today in it's like today in Monkees history, but it's not just headlines. It's like the guys ate a bologna sandwich for lunch, and then they went in the studio and tracked vocals, and like it's very
Like a stalker put it together.
yeah.
Okay.
Like a serious super fan really got in there and did some
Chip
work.
Douglas put it together.
Yeah, Chip Douglas. Yeah. So that's very cool. So yeah, written by Jerry Goffin and Carole King. Jerry Goffin, R.I.P., passed away in 2014, was married to Carole King at the time of writing. and he wrote 114 Billboard Hot 100 hits, including "Saving All My Love for You," famous in my generation by Whitney Houston, but was also famous for somebody else I can't remember. Before Whitney. Anyway, it was before my time.
I wrote down Whitney Houston because that's how I know it.
Yeah. But had a long-ranging career because he also wrote "Take Good Care of My Baby" and "The Locomotion." Like, come on, baby, do the locomotion. Which has the distinction of hitting the top 5 in the United States 3 different times in 3 different decades. The Locomotion charted in the top 5 3 different times in 3 different decades.
You think it got a bump in the 80s from the Crest commercials? Didn't they do Crest Sparkle Motion?
Oh, they did. They had like a... That wasn't... Yeah.
That was their thing.
Well, I know
Surely it was in a movie or something, right?
Yeah, and was it... oh my gosh. Who was it that did it in the 80s? Like somebody... like Bananarama or somebody.
Okay.
It wasn't, but it was like it was a girl group, and they might have been... Who did Venus?
That's Panorama.
It's Bananarama? Okay, maybe it was them. No, it wasn't. It was like Debbie Gibson or somebody. Totally irrelevant to this
Let's
conversation.
go with that.
However,
Yeah,
it
good
was
job,
Sandy
Debbie.
Patty. It was Sandy Patty.
You're right.
That
absolutely.
sounds right. It was the Sandy Patty Wayne Watson duo.
It had that Sandy Patty ring to
Locomotion.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we established so far is that Sandy Patty sang the Locomotion.
Yeah. Exactly.
If there's one thing I know about Pleasant Valley Sunday, it's that Sandy Patty sang the Locomotion.
That sounds right. We can wrap that up.
Yep. Good episode, guys.
Great job. Feel so informed.
Yeah. So, originally conceived as sort of a, I guess it's sarcastic in tone. I don't know if sarcasm is the best word, but a sort of dig at suburbia as sort of the sort of level of fakeness that Carole and Jerry thought that suburbia had become. I guess it's just rows of houses that are all the same, and everybody's trying to outdo one another and one up one another.
Did you see that later Mike Nesmith said that, hey, joke's on you, it was about a mental institution?
I did see that, and I'm like, you're an idiot. No, it's not.
And he didn't even write it.
Yeah,
It's
like,
like,
you didn't write it.
Like, hey, I changed it. Like, did you?
I played guitar on it, thus making it about this.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that's a pretty lofty thing to try and say. Like, I didn't change the song, I changed the meaning of it.
Exactly. When I sang it, it actually meant this.
Yeah.
That'd be like Mel Gibson being like, what the Bible is really about
Right,
is because I wrote Passion of the Christ.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, gosh, we got derailed by the Locomotion.
The Locomotion.
Hey now.
Hey, there we go.
Should we just do it one time?
Come on, baby.
In here, let's
do the Locomotion.
come on,
we all do the
JP.
Locomotion?
Let's just do the Locomotion real quick.
I know you're gonna like it if you give it a chance now.
Is that the brand new dance now that everybody's doing?
Something about toothpaste.
Yes.
Is there toothpaste involved?
That's what, guys, we're talking about the Locomotion today.
Let's just change songs.
Midstream. How much we
scrap
obviously
this
don't
one.
know much about the Locomotion.
We know it's Sandy Patty. Something about toothpaste. That's it.
That's all.
The mental institution.
So Carole King.
Yeah.
Man, what do you know about Carole King?
We know a
she's
lot
okay.
about Carole King. If you want some highlights, you can hear the James Taylor podcast. Go
Absolutely.
back and listen to, so we don't bore you with all.
And
the
not a
Carole
word
Kings.
more.
That's right.
No, Carole King. Born Carole
Awesome.
Klein. I didn't know that until
Klein?
Until this Carole Klein.
Like
Yeah.
Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
Like underwear or Back to the Future?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah. All. According to Wikipedia, and I guess this is true, but I immediately had one other name pop in my head. Wikipedia classifies Carole King as the most successful female songwriter of the late 20th century. Do you agree? I immediately had Diane Warren pop in my head, writer of numerous hits like Celine Dion, the Aerosmith song from Armageddon, tons of like whatever. She's kind of the...
Yeah, I would
But
say Carole King.
I think Carole King probably is, whatever. And she's got, I don't know how many million copies sold as just an artist alone. Forget as a writer. So I think that's true. I just wanted to, that seems like a bold claim, but I think that's probably true.
She wrote a lot of songs for a lot of other people, I guess,
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Do you think she's recorded her own version of every song she's ever written that we have access to.
Have you heard the demo of this version?
That was awesome.
The 66. It's so much. Play a little bit of it.
did
the
not
people out there.
enjoy it.
It's
Let's
so
say.
You didn't
slow.
like
It's
it?
slower, and it's not the same song.
And the
liked
melody,
it.
the chord changes are different.
It's different.
Let's listen to this ad, and then in 15 seconds, we're going to play you. Hold on. Hey, have you guys heard about Nobilo? Apparently, it's a wine.
Untwist and unwind.
All right. Hey, Carole King.
Sponsor.
That's free.
Here we go.
That's free.
The local rock group down the street is trying hard to learn their song. They serenade the weekend squire who just came out to mow the lawn. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday. Charcoal burning everywhere. Rows of houses that are all the same, and no one seems to care.
Yeah, I'm going to go on record and say I don't. I mean, it is beautiful. The sections that are great are still great, but I don't like the difference in the chord changes. The intervals that the chords change to in the different sections, where I don't like that version as much. And she now doesn't do it that way either. I don't know if it's because the Beatles made it popular and she was just like, I forget it, I might as well do it their way, or if like I said the Beatles. I knew I was going to do that. I knew.
That just happened.
Wow.
In Rob's defense, I am wearing a Beatles shirt, so maybe
Yeah,
he
you're
got
staring right
distracted.
at it. It's bound to happen.
It's in the face, so.
Wow, I literally beforehand I was like, "Don't say Beatles, you idiot."
JP's like the college home team, like sitting up behind the backboard trying to distract you
Yeah,
while you're
exactly.
making the
With
shot.
somebody's big face.
Some big head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, say Beatles. Say it. Say it.
All right, hopefully I won't betray the Monkees like that again. All my love to the Monkees. I'm sorry. We already did an episode where
R.I.P. Davy Jones.
Where we already
And
did
George
an episode
Harrison.
where I declared Mickey dead. I said out loud, Mickey's dead.
Yeah, you guys
And then
killed him
realized-
some time ago. That's
yeah,
right.
we did, but he came back. He got better.
He got back, yeah. That was just
Oh,
in
okay.
season 1.
It's a
so
flesh wound.
he's recovered since then.
That's good.
So, anyway, my take. I don't love the demos much, y'all.
Joey?
I actually liked it.
Yeah?
I didn't know it existed until I knew we were doing this song, and I was like, oh,
Would you look at that? New
look at
ringback
this.
tone.
Look at this. Yeah, I've got it as my ringback, ringtone, the whole schmagiggle.
It's his it's MySpace background song.
Yeah, when you
I
go to my
miss
page, it plays
I miss that. I mean,
MySpace or just.
no, I don't miss MySpace, but I miss having a song on your profile.
Wow. I actually forgot you could do that.
It was a way to like, here's a little something about me that you may not know that immediately you just kind of need to know,
Like, yeah, my heart does go on.
It does.
Just know it.
That's awesome. Yeah, Monkees TV show. Y'all fans?
oh, love it.
Huge fans of the show.
Love it, love
Did you know that only Peter Tork and Mickey Dolenz are in every episode? They're the only ones in every episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not. That's some good. Not song related trivia. I mean, it is, but you know what I mean. I guess it's related.
It's kind of related. Jack Nicholson wrote their movie.
That's weird, right? And he
What?
like
Head
Yeah.
movie. The
like
Monkees
before his career took off, he was a big part of the movie.
Jack Nicholson?
The Jack Nicholson,
Not Jack Nicholas, not
Right.
the golfer.
Yeah, not the golfer.
Not the Golden Bear.
Yeah,
No, not the
no.
Golden Bear. No. My dad the other day, he's like, "Son, you think you can go fix me a Jack Nichols? Jack Nicholas."
Jack Nichols
He's
would
like,
be even
no.
better.
He's like, "You can go fix me a Jack Nicholas."
It's just a
I was
cup
like,
of just
"You mean
grass or
Arnold Palmer?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that's what I like."
Yeah.
You should have just come up with your own thing.
Yeah.
You're like, no, this cup of grass and weeds and golf balls for ice cubes.
and-
That's a Jack
and
Nicklaus.
eggnog.
And eggnog.
Thick.
Oh man.
You have to drink it while my finger's still in it.
That's the way Jack does
That's
it.
what he wanted.
Those were his specific instructions.
Exactly. I Googled it. Don't worry, Dad.
That just goes down a whole thing of like, I want to think about like, what would a Phil Mickelson be like?
Oh.
What would you have to drink it left-handed?
Tiger Woods?
And yeah, what would a Tiger? No, maybe not.
Too
so
soon?
anyway,
Is it too soon for Tiger Woods?
Yeah,
maybe
probably.
I don't know. It just seemed like there was probably going to be no good end to that.
Yeah, that could
Yeah,
be
it
a
was
gonna-
bad
it was
trail
just
there.
gonna-
What was the golfer that wore the The cool short pants.
Payne Stewart.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Payne
Rest in
Stewart.
peace.
Helicopter crash for him?
Think
Is
so.
that what it was?
Yeah.
Something like
Is it
that.
a helicopter?
Helicopter gets all of them, man. Everybody's tragic
John
death
Denver,
is like a helicopter.
right? Jim Croce.
Yeah. Stevie Ray Vaughan? Come on. The Big Bopper?
I don't think
Oh,
that was
man,
a
the day the music
helicopter,
died?
was it?
I don't know.
We're just throwing
It's
it out
air
here.
travel of some
Air
sort.
Jim
Aircraft.
Morrison.
Like,
Jimi Hendrix.
our lesson today is don't trust planes.
Yeah.
Anything that flies. Birds, don't trust them.
Mama Cass.
Falcor.
Falcor.
Don't trust aerial travel of any kind. Yeah, so anyway, Carole King.
This is a
You
pleasant.
said Ariel. I thought we were going on a Little Mermaid tangent. I'm like, man, I'm
don't
not ready for any of this.
So Carole King has sold more than...
Favorite Disney princess. Go.
Go, everyone go. It's Jasmine.
Trying to see how many off-topic things we can.
My
fit into
wife warned
one
me about
podcast.
this. She's like, if you have Joey on there, please don't just be like you normally are in real life. Like, try to stick to the topic. I was like, babe, I promise.
It
but
won't
no
happen.
guarantees.
I don't remember what we're talking about.
I do. Carole
Yes,
King.
good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Born Carole Klein. Should I start over? She has sold more than 75 million records as an artist. That's like, I mean, that's upper echelon. You know, you're tempted to say stuff like, she's one of the highest selling female, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's just pure. She's a baller.
Yeah.
Carole King is just a baller.
I pulled out my old James Taylor notes just because I wanted to make sure I got the number right, but she had 118 hits to crack the Billboard Top 100,
Yeesh.
which is four more
Four
than
more
old
than Jerry
Goffin.
Wow.
Yeah,
She outdid him. Anything you can do, I can do better.
She did not write that.
No. She's won 4 Grammy Awards, and that actually seemed a little low, I guess. But
4?
Yeah, 4. And she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along with Goffin. And she was the first woman to be awarded the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. And she was honored in 2015 at the Kennedy Center Honors.
Was there a specific song, or is that just the title?
I think it's kind of a lifetime. Oh, yeah, for I think it's popular song as a category. So, like...
Okay, it's not like, hey, it's for this song.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
not for like a particular popular song, just for popular music in general. Yeah. She won 4 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Performance Female, Record of the Year for It's Too Late, and Song of the Year, becoming the first woman to win the award for You've Got a Friend. How about that?
How about that?
The album appeared. That would be. I think that would be
Tapestry? Is that
Tapestry,
Tapestry?
surely. On Rolling Stone's
It is on Tapestry.
500 Greatest Albums of All Times list at number 36, and It's Too Late was number 469 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. So, Carole King, what a baller!
Great writer.
What a career! Let's call her. You have her number?
Not.
I might. Hang on.
I don't. Hang on. Joey might.
That's Don King.
He's looking. Oh,
Oh man.
No, I'm
it's
sorry.
gonna come in handy someday.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Well, you really let us down. You can go.
Okay. Hey, this was great, guys. Thank you. Thanks for the baseball card of Mickey Dolenz.
No problem. Prize of unspeakable value.
Thanks for the fake autograph they put on there.
So let's talk a little bit about the song.
Let's do it.
Pleasant Valley Sunday is the song, for some reason, for the Monkees. Now, despite having called them the Beatles just a moment ago, I would call myself a Monkees fan. I'm generally speaking a big fan of the Monkees, but now I feel like that has zero credibility. But this is the song of theirs that, of the songs of theirs that I love, this is the one that I always forget about for some reason. Like, I love this song legitimately, but it's always one of the last ones that I think of the songs that, if I was putting together my favorite Monkee songs, for some reason it always comes last.
Now, do you have Daydream Believer, I'm a Believer, Last Train to Clarksville?
All
Are
the
those in
Believer
your
songs,
Are
I'm
those
a
in
big-
your favorites, or are those the ones that
You just think of.
That you just think of
probably.
there.
Yeah, I'm a Believer is would not be in my
I don't
favorites.
like I'm a Believer. I'll just
Yeah?
throw it out there. Shrek ruined that for me. So I'm not
Fair
a fan
enough.
of that
Did
song.
Shrek ruin it, or did Smash Mouth ruin it?
Oh, maybe. Ooh, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
I don't know. I think my favorite Monkees song, I almost said Beatles again. I had to
Goodness
stop.
gracious.
My mouth was forming the B. I think my favorite Monkees song is What Am I Doing Hanging Round? Love that song.
That's on the same album, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Play a little sampling
Kind
of
of a
it.
country vibe.
Yeah,
Just a loud
it sounds
mouth.
like Ruby, Don't Take Your Guns to Town a little bit. Kenny Rogers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Maybe it's
The
just
Gambler?
himself, Mr. Facelift.
Play
Oh.
play a little of the one that you like there, Rob.
What am I doing hanging around? Here goes.
What am I doing hanging round? I should be on that train and gone. I should be riding on that train to San Antone. What am I doing hanging
So yeah, that one's probably my favorite Monkees song. How about you guys?
That's a good one.
Well, that's not gonna be my favorite. I mean, I'd probably put Pleasant Valley Sunday as my favorite.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
probably
beautiful. There's
that's
no
my
reason
favorite.
not to. I mean,
I like Last Train to Clarksville.
Yeah.
I'm a big Neil Diamond guy. I don't know. I like that one. It was one of the first songs I was learning to play on guitar. I kept checking out the same Neil Diamond songbook over and over from the library.
nice.
I do live near Clarksville, so I should probably
Still
put that one
trains?
higher on my. I should,
Trains
yeah.
running? You think that was Clarksville, Tennessee? Take the last train to
I'm
Clarksville,
gonna go with
Tennessee?
yes. Anybody know any other popular Clarksvilles out there?
I figure there's probably one.
probably
Well, do
Clarksville,
trains
Indiana.
still go there, or was that the last one?
That was the, I think it's done.
They like, hey, that's it.
Like the,
Oh, man.
Now you got to take a bus or
Yeah, it's probably all just bus
or
transit.
or
say.
a taxi. Take the last taxi to Clarksville.
It doesn't
That doesn't
roll as
fit.
well.
It's got to be a train. It's got to be your train.
Yeah.
It's got to be your
The
bull.
last. Wow. Well, all right. R.I.P. train
Rest
travel.
in peace, Clarksville train.
Oh, you have an RIP fact
Yes.
that ties in.
Was it Jerry Goffin? Carole King's husband, who she wrote the song with, died on today's date. Today's the 4-year anniversary of him dying. It's his death birthday.
We are recording this on June the 19th, 2018.
Is death birthday the right?
death
birthday.
Is that right?
Well, I've never heard it before, but that doesn't mean it's not the right thing.
Speaking of death birthdays, William Shakespeare was born on April 23rd and died on April 23rd.
Man.
I mean, is
So
that
weird.
right? I mean, it's a
It's,
real.
it's true. My dad's birthday is April 23rd, and I looked up facts
okay.
about April 23rd, and that's
you
the
did.
best I could
There
get.
you go. Wow.
Wow. Okay,
Man,
so
gone too soon.
I mean, special RIP for Jerry Goffin today. Then,
Yeah.
like you get the normal RIP just because we know you're dead. But if it's the day that you died, then you get the special RIP tribute.
This one's for you, Jerry.
Yeah. So this podcast is now dedicated to Jerry Goffin.
Jerry with a G.
Jerry,
as well.
yeah.
It's a little.
Hope it's not Gary. Hope we've not been botching this.
No, surely
it's Jerry.
Nobody would spell Gary that
Yeah,
way.
G-E-R-R-Y.
I've seen at least one other Jerry spelled that way. I feel confident it's got to be Jerry.
Yeah.
Kind of nervous now.
Gary Goffin, like I feel like
If it's.
if it's Gary, you're getting into like Gary Gergich
Well,
territory.
if you're
from
doing
Parks
the
and Rec.
hard G, you got to roll those R's hard then. It's
Gary.
Like it's a Gary.
Gary Goffin.
Oh, hey, he's dead, guys.
Oh, well, yeah, he's
Anyway.
still dead.
Wow.
It's true. All this joking doesn't bring him back to life.
Dude, let's
so.
meet the band. Let's liven this up. Let's do something.
Hey, let's meet the band. It's time to meet the band. Hey, mama, let's meet the band. Let's all meet the band.
All right, we're going to meet the band, the Monkees. Lead vocal on this. He's credited, and if you're watching the video, he plays drums on the video, but he did not play drums on this particular track. It's just for cinematography. George Michael Mickey Dolenz Jr.
Hold on.
George Michael.
George Michael?
Oh yeah, George Michael.
So he literally has two completely different celebrity names.
He does.
He's George Michael.
He's George Michael.
Mickey Dolenz.
And he's Mickey Dolenz.
That's like if you were a basketball player.
And he's Michael Jr.
And
he's three.
Yeah. Oh, Michael Jr. comedian.
The comedian
True.
guy. There
Yeah.
we go.
But in sequence, you've got George Michael.
Yep.
And then totally separately, Mickey
Mickey
Dolenz.
Dolenz.
And he's already Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah.
There's a whole other George Michael that you didn't know about.
There we go.
You know
That
what I'm
lives
saying?
inside of Mickey Dolenz.
He does.
Oh, man.
He lives on inside all of us.
Goodness gracious.
I think, but especially in Mickey Dolenz.
I could
'cause
see
that's part
that.
of his name.
I can see that.
I guess so. He was an actor in 1956 on a show called Circus Boy, featuring him and Bimbo the Elephant.
Oh,
That's how
yeah.
he got started. So.
Circus Boy sounds like a real good slam on somebody.
I know. Hey, Circus Boy.
Yeah. Shut up, circus boy.
Shut up, Circus Boy.
Just shut up and play,
Get over
Circus
there
Boy.
with Bimbo.
I think that's what they called Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman.
I need to see
Circus
that.
Boy.
Get out of town, circus boy.
I need to watch that.
That could be true. I've not seen it. You can just
Neither
make
of
up
you have
what.
seen The
We
Greatest
haven't.
Showman?
We claim
No.
to be
Oh, you guys,
musician-loving
it's so good.
people.
I found out it was a musical. I almost watched it, and right before I went and
You're not a
watched
musical
it,
fan?
people were like, "It's a musical." I was like, "Oh no."
I like
Yeah.
musicals.
It's like a legit musical.
I would be in
So
Newsies.
If that turns you off, then you'll hate it. But
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Grease. No, you don't like Grease? Or,
No, I know it's the word, but
It
no,
is
I'm
the
not
word.
a big fan.
That's what that agrees with you. Oh yeah, we talked about how we hated Grease. Or you, I like it. In the 1960s, Mickey had a band, Mickey and the One Nighters. They were a cover band. They did.
not to be confused with the Oneaters.
No. Oh, that thing you do.
nice.
That's Onetters.
Yeah.
They did lots of Chuck Berry, and he actually did Johnny B. Good for his audition
The
to be
One-Nighters?
in the Monkees. He did Johnny B. Good. That was his audition song.
Interesting.
Truth was, he's not a drummer at all prior to coming to this, and took lots of lessons to even learn how to mime it.
Yeah, he
accurately.
played some other stuff, but not
A
drums.
little bit, mainly just the vocalist though.
Big thing with running undercurrent theme with the Monkees is that when they did and when they didn't play their own instruments and write their own music. Like it was their first album. They were
allowed to write 2 songs
voices,
for each album,
but they didn't play anything, and it was all studio cats and whatever. And then eventually they kind of fought for their
right to play.
Their music outlived the series by several years. I mean, obviously they just put out a new album, like within the last year. But I mean, as far as their height of popularity, the series only lasted 2 seasons, and then they continued making albums regularly for the next several years. They were created originally to be a TV show. They were prefabricated for a TV show, kind of based on A Hard Day's Night, and they weren't really supposed to be a real band. It was just kind of supposed to be
just a show.
Just a show. They were California Dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, if you didn't watch California Dreams, you were wrong.
Absolutely, you were wrong.
Go on, vote for Jake.
Vote for Jake.
Now, how many years
loose.
was California Dreams on?
Oh,
it was definitely on for more than the Monkees, which is
long
insane.
time. That's crazy. California Dreams is better than the Monkees. I just said it.
Okay.
That just happened.
Oh no! Stop. How many California Dreams albums do you own?
You at least own one.
I have.
Do you have one?
I have the whole everything DVD, every episode.
You do not.
I do. I promise. It took me forever to get it, and on the back of it, it's called the music video section, and it's just all the music video, like all the live bad fade outs, horrible lip syncing goodness.
Oh, She's Not You.
She's Not You. Love Is Not Like This on the radio.
Yes. Too Much to Dream.
Oh man, I had too much to dream last night.
Too much to dream.
We're gonna do a California Dreams great song podcast, and we're gonna have 3 people listen.
I'm using
one
this
of which is J. Anthony Frank.
My next work excuse for coming in late. Oh, guys, sorry. Too much to dream last night.
That's it, man. You know what I mean?
Got crazy.
That's right.
Got crazy all up in my brain.
Okay, back to Mickey Dolenz.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
he plays right-handed and left-footed, which is, you drummers out there.
That's uncomfortable.
That is incredibly weird, and that's because he has a disease called, I hope I don't mess this up, it's called Perthes. His right leg is really weak. He can't do anything with his right leg, but he's predominantly right-handed, so he plays with his left foot and his right hand, which I don't know what he does with the hi-hat. I guess.
So I wonder, because as far as I recall, he doesn't play open.
He plays open-handed a little bit on the ride. He ride.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he puts his ride in the middle, like so it's
sure that makes sense, but
left-footed.
I think he plays traditionally as far as cross-handed.
He still cross-hand some.
That seems uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just the. So I looked up on celebrities with Perthes because I'm like, why not? There's got to be somebody out there.
Of course.
And I found 0.
You think
Nobody.
So you think he made it up?
I don't know.
That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying
You're
Mickey
saying
Dolenz
he made it up?
We've already killed him. I'm not saying he's making up this fake leg disease.
You think somebody taught him to drum wrong, like as a joke?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They're like, no, you want to use this other leg.
you're going to be on that TV show playing drums? I'll show you a lesson. Thanks, Uncle Ted. Wrong. Yeah.
They're like, no, I have Perthes.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's that?
Exactly.
Never heard of it.
He bought the 3rd Moog synthesizer ever made.
Yeah.
Which I think is...
First one on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
Is what I read.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the 3rd one ever made. The first one was bought by Wendy Carlos, and she wrote the score for Clockwork Orange, Tron, and The Shining. So she recorded The Shining score for that on the first Moog synthesizer ever made.
I'm going on a long shot here.
Okay.
Say it.
But Weird Al Yankovic.
I got it.
Oh, wow.
I'm coming there.
Is she that Wendy
Wait
Carlos?
for it. Collaborated with Weird Al on the Peter and the Wolf.
Yes.
1988. Boom. Recorded
Wow.
on the first Moog synthesizer ever made in 1988 with Weird Al.
That is insane.
Yep. I knew that would come back to Weird Al, and you prompted me on
Okay,
that.
so Peter and the Wolf.
Tell some story here.
Yeah,
Rob.
it's amazing.
bit.
But it's by far the most obscure Weird Al album.
Absolutely.
And it's even hard to find. But it's
I've
not
not even
on,
heard of this
It
album.
doesn't stream. It's not you have to own a physical copy of it. And so what it is it's basically
And it was recorded in 88, so there's not a lot of like medians for it.
Yeah, no. I've had it on tape and CD, and that's about it. But It's like Weird Al's telling of the Peter and the Wolf with Tchaikovsky's original music as the backdrop, and he's doing all these weird voices, and it's hilarious.
And she helped put the music together
and so after
on the Moog synthesizer.
Yeah, and then after it's over, there's a section called Carnival of the Animals Part 2, and it's kind of a continuation of sorts in a funny way of a set of poems by Camille Saint-Saëns. I don't know how you pronounce
what was that?
Saenz.
And he's doing this off the top of his head, guys.
Yeah,
it's not written
Camille
down.
Saint-Saëns.
Do you have to say it like that?
I don't know. I think I do. Apparently, but it's a set of poems, short poems about different animals, and then a music piece that is sort of representative of whatever. It sounds boring as all get out. It's amazing. If you ever get a chance, I'm sure it's probably on YouTube somewhere. You could probably do it, or you could support the artist and find it and buy it on Amazon. But which everyone should do. But yeah,
I've
it's
never
amazing.
heard of
That just blew me away that she did the music for Clockwork Orange and
Tron. And The Shining.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Weird Al's Peter
Weird
and
Al.
the Wolf.
The second of those synthesizers was bought by Buck Owens.
Wow.
He co-hosted
Buck Owens?
Hee Haw, the guy from
Yeah.
Hee Haw.
Yeah.
Country
with Roy
music
Clark.
legend.
Pedal steel player. Okay, he took his.
Secretly into synthesizers.
Weird.
Oh wait, he took his and he's like, I don't need this. Why did I get this? And sold it
Buyer's remorse.
Sold it to Bobby Sherman, who recorded a song called Little Women. It's
Bobby Sherman. Isn't that from The Simpsons?
Maybe.
Yeah?
Could be. It's another Na 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 song. It's one of
let's
those
say
songs
it
from
is.
that era where everybody sings Na Na Nas and all that. So Bobby Sherman. Anyway, that song.
Yeah.
I got some Bobby Sherman sidebars, but they're not that good.
You remember the episode of The Simpsons where Lisa had a crush on some boy named Corey, and she would call the hotline, and you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, I
and they had
think
to
I do.
break her of it. And I think Marge says, "Oh, I understand. I used to have the biggest crush on Bobby Sherman." I think that's
Maybe it's this guy.
Bobby Sherman that's Lisa's response.
There we go.
Man, you are nailing that
Wow.
Lisa voice.
That's pretty
You're
good.
just hitting these buttons in the
It's
back
just-
of my brain.
just
and it's
triggering it.
Firing all these synapses. I haven't watched The Simpsons in 15 years.
And he hasn't listened to Peter and the Wolf in 10.
Oh my gosh. I actually still have that one.
That was on the drive into work this morning.
Yeah.
After the Monkees, Mickey Dolenz did voiceovers on cartoons mainly. He did Batman the Animated Series. He was Two-Face's brother
No kidding.
on Batman.
Face's brother.
Two-Face's brother. I don't know
One
his name.
face.
One
His name
fellow.
was-
That's just regular
Face.
face guy.
Face. Three-face.
This is Mike. He's just a guy with a normal face.
Mike Face, how you doing?
Mike Face.
Mike face.
My face. He also did voices for Butch Cassidy. I don't know what happened to my voice there. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and Scooby-Doo.
Who was he on Scooby Doo?
A voice. I don't know.
No, did the
It was
Monkees
Three-Face.
star on Scooby Doo? They
I
had a
think there
lot
was
of
some crossover at
They
some
might have been
point.
on
yeah,
there.
they did some
Probably
crossovers
good.
because they had like the Harlem Globetrotters.
They did have the
and all
Harlem
that.
Globetrotters on.
Scooby Doo's all
Batman.
about the crossovers. I feel like maybe Scooby Doo just doesn't have any drawing power anymore.
So you just
he's
reach
like,
out.
who can I reach out to? You know,
Yeah.
Kiss, like seriously, Kiss, WWE.
Scooby-Doo is the Carlos Santana of
Yeah.
of cartoons. They're like, who can I get to help? Make me relevant. Burn Carlos Santana.
Oh wow!
We are not a
So
Carlos
is
Santana.
Carlos Santana the
I'm not.
Scooby Doo of guitarists?
Guitar
Is that what we're
player?
gonna say now?
Yeah.
I'm
He's
definitely down
high
with
off
that.
his mind and
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
Scooby is?
He's the.
What's in those Scooby snacks?
Dude, that's why he's always got the munchies and seeing ghosts at random times.
Yeah.
Do you think the ghosts are not real?
No.
Are you alleging?
Well, I think
Never
the
mind.
Wait, gang thinks they're not real.
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole purpose of
I
the
guess it
gang?
always turns out that they never are real.
Yeah, they
so-
never are. But Shaggy and Scoob are always convinced.
Yeah.
Mickey Dolenz.
Oh yeah.
Also auditioned for the role of the Fonz on Happy Days, but he didn't get it because he's too tall. He's
Really?
6'1". Ron Howard is 5'9".
Yeah.
And so
Henry
he's like,
Winkler's a real small guy.
They're like, we got to find somebody shorter than Ron Howard.
Do you think? You think it would have been the same without if it wasn't Henry Winkler? Like, hey,
Was Happy Days after the Monkees?
Yes, it's after the Monkees.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been the same. I think there'd been a lot of bleed over. I don't think it would have been as
yeah.
accepted.
Oh, if it's after,
Yeah, then
my
no.
assumption in reading it was that.
I think, right?
I don't know.
It's set
Well, it's
in
set.
Happy
It's
Days.
set in the 50s,
It's set in the
so
50s,
it's.
but I thought it was
yeah, I think
recorded
it's
in the
later.
early 70s.
Yeah, I think you're right. It would have been after the Monkees.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been taken well.
Yeah, no, not if he had already been established as part of the Monkees. No,
No.
Gosh.
And the last thing that he auditioned for and was the lead contender to get was the Riddler in Batman. until Jim Carrey
Batman
swooped
Forever.
Batman
Forever.
forever.
Mickey
in
Dolenz?
94, he was supposed to be.
I think he would have been good at
He was
that.
supposed
I would
to
have
be the
liked to
Riddler.
have seen that.
I can't picture
Wow.
anybody other than Jim Carrey though now because I've
Sure.
seen Jim Carrey
Jeez.
as the Riddler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mickey, that would have freaked me out,
I
man.
mean, he's no Arnold Schwarzenegger as
No.
an actor, but let's kick some ice.
Is that? How does that rank in your Batman movies? Batman Forever.
Oh man,
you guys already
We've
talked
done-
about this.
We've done Batmans.
It's-
We've ranked our Batmans.
Yeah,
Our Batman.
Our Batmen.
Yeah.
Our,
yeah. It's of that 4. I'll just because there's some
Yeah, before they started doing it over
But like
and
of the
over.
4 in the 80s and 90s, it is my third, but a strong third of the 4. Like they basically go in order.
You're going right in
One,
order.
Batman,
two,
yeah.
Batman Returns, Batman
Returns.
Forever, and then a pile of dirt and hell itself, and then Batman and Robin.
When Batman and Robin came out, I loved it, but just mostly for Uma Thurman. I was a
yeah.
big fan.
And how old are you?
35.
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
right in
pretty
there,
close
right
in
in
age.
there.
Okay,
But
whenever
Yeah,
I
it
hear
didn't
somebody
stand the
say
test
I
of
liked
time.
Batman and Robin, I just assume that they're younger than me.
or just have no taste in movies.
that could be. But looking now, it's definitely the first one. Just regular Batman, Michael Keaton.
Absolutely.
Jack
Yeah,
Nicholson.
that's
definitely
it.
the
That's
best one.
it. Yeah. Jack Nicholson. We're back on him again.
Jack
There we
Nicholson.
go.
The actual drummer that played drums on the album is a guy named Fast Eddie Ho. Played drums on lots of albums in the 60s and doesn't get enough credit. He played on lots of Monkee stuff, Daydream Believer. He also played with Donovan, the Mamas and the Papas. And he actually, one of the biggest commercial successes for the Mamas and the Papas was the Monterey Pop Festival. And he played drums with them on that. So, with the Mamas and the Papas.
Fast Eddie Ho.
Fast Eddie Ho. On lead guitar, Michael Nesmith plays a custom 12-string by Gretsch.
It's a cool looking guitar.
Yeah.
If it's the one from the video.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty neat little looking guitar. Yeah, the old 12-string.
Now, when they made the video, was there already like the I don't know if it's a controversy of like, hey, these guys aren't playing their actual instruments. Was that show happening and people were already saying this, like giving them flack about it?
But you can obviously tell that Davy Jones is not playing bass.
Oh gosh,
it's atrociously
yeah,
awful.
it's like he has never seen anyone play a bass. He's just like pulling at it, like he's like pawing at it like a kitten or something. Like
licking the strings.
He put his
What if I
nose
do
on the
this?
fretboard. It's horrible.
I read an interview, and I can't remember if it was with Peter or with Mike, but that when they started shooting the first video, that was when they started getting upset because they were upset that it was being and the first album came back and had no other credits on it except them. And so they were like, "What the heck, guys? What we're not pretending that we're a real band." Like Mickey said, I've got a great quote from Mickey on this. He said, "The Monkees aren't and never were a band." And this is his quote. He said, "I think, again, from my point of view, the whole confusion came and still exists. If you think of the Monkees as a group, as a band, it gets very confusing, and it just isn't accurate. The Monkees was not a band. It still isn't a band. It was this television show about this band that wanted to be the Beatles. We wanted to be the Beatles. That's what that was what it was about. And we represented all those kids around the United States and the world that were in their basements and garages playing songs and trying to make a living. That's what the heart and soul of the show was about. That's what made us successful." And so that when the album starts coming out and the video starts coming out and there's nobody else in it, they felt like they were lying to people, the people that were watching the show and kids were listening to the music so they were like, "Guys, either we've got to play our own stuff or you've got to start crediting these other people."
Sure. And
That's good.
Peter actually said that if they were a real band, the best musician, Davy Jones should have played drums because he was the best drummer. Michael Nesmith should have played bass, and Peter Tork should have played guitar, and Mickey should have just sang. He should have just fronted the band.
Davey, you mean?
No, Davey should have played drums.
Yeah, Davey
should have been
He's
playing
the best
Davey played
drummer,
drums.
without a doubt, the best drummer. He's like
If you
he
go
can
to his like Wikipedia page, it credits him for vocals.
Yeah,
That's it.
he gets credit for vocals and maracas. I mean, that's what he gets credit for, but he's the best drummer
Really?
of the group. And we'll touch on that. I'll keep going in order. Sorry, we kind
sorry.
of got off track. But back to Michael Nesmith, executive producer of the movie Repo Man. Have y'all ever seen Repo Man with Emilio Estevez?
No, there used to be a wrestler called Repo Man. He wore a mask and he would, I don't know, I guess take things from people.
Old Gordon Bombay, and him and Harry Dean Stanton from Cool Hand Luke and Escape from New York. I like that guy. His mom invented the typewriter, the collection
Liquid
fluid.
paper.
Yeah,
White out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically and then sold it to Gillette in 1979 for $48 million.
Jeez.
48 million?
$48 million dollars.
What year?
79.
79.
That's like a
Whoa.
quadrillion today. It's a lot of yen.
And her name is it Bet or Betty? It's no Y on it. Bettee.
Oh yeah, that's usually Betty, like Betty Davis.
Betty Davis.
Yeah.
I thought there was an I in Betty Davis.
Bette Midler spelled that way, though.
Oh, true.
Whoop.
Controversy.
Sorry, Bet. We don't know.
We are not going to
She's
play
a big
Bette
listener.
Midler song.
Yeah, she is.
Remember that when you were in elementary school? What was that Bette Midler song that was so huge?
The Rose.
Some say love. No, it was the other one. From a Distance.
Ew.
Oh yeah, you remember that? From
No.
a distance. Oh my goodness.
God is watching.
That's it. There it is.
us.
Bette Midler, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, hey,
Please
go away.
leave. Yeah.
Please go on, shoot, get
Get on out of here. Bet. The Michael Nesmith's first solo album was released in '65 on Cold Pix Records, and I'll tell you why that's important here in a minute. Under the name of Michael Blessings.
What's up, fam?
And he was the same label as Davy Jones, but they didn't know each other until they met on the Monkees. So they both were on the same label at the same time. Had songs charting.
And when we say they met on the Monkees, like literally, it was like a making the band type
Yeah.
scenario. That's about the closest thing that you
That's
could come
good.
to.
Yeah.
Except that they did all that stuff off camera.
Yeah.
But it was like, we're going to make this group, and we're just going to have people audition. Not even for the group, just for a TV show.
For a show.
And we'll teach them to play if they need to. You know what I mean?
But it's mainly just going to be running around and acting silly and doing that kind of thing. He always wears a wool hat to keep the hair out of his eyes. And he did commercials for Kool-Aid and Nerf. Nerf. Remember Nerf?
Sure.
He's got a big quote in there.
Yeah.
He's like, "E Nerf's a Nerf."
Ew.
Ooh.
Nerf's a
E
nerf.
Nerf's a
I thought
Nerf.
it was Nerf or nothing. I thought that was their thing.
Well, not with Michael Nesmith.
Not with him.
Oh,
He
Michael.
tried to change it.
E Nerf's a Nerf.
It's like, hey guys, how about a Nerf's a Nerf? How's that?
Yeah, they're like, well, he was in the Monkees. We'll take it.
Oh, that's
Or-
right.
Okay.
His
Whatever.
mom invented liquid paper.
That's
so.
right. Heck, he's got $49 million just sitting there. Whatever he says goes. On keys, Peter Houston Thorkelson, or Peter Tork.
Good change.
Yeah, good choice on
he
that.
did a good
So
job.
Steven Stills auditioned for his part, and he got turned down. And they asked him, they're like, "Do you know anybody else?" And he's like, "That's so weird. Like, sorry, you're not going to get it. Who do you suggest?"
Yeah.
Like,
Could you recommend someone who's not you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody who's like you, like better than you?
Yeah, you know, you just better. Yeah, that's
maybe
right.
better looking.
A little more talented, can act a little bit, maybe actually play a little better. I'll be like, yes, his name's Rob. He actually played banjo with George Harrison and lived in David Crosby's basement after the Monkees. He like
Wow.
lived with him for a while. And this is probably my favorite Peter Tork fact. He was Topanga Lawrence's father on Boy Meets World.
Was he now?
He was Jedediah Lawrence.
Really? Jedediah, huh?
Jedediah Lawrence.
I mean, she's Topanga. Okay, I get it.
What a
course.
great father.
It's true. He raised a quality daughter.
He did.
Yeah.
He was also on King of Queens, Seventh Heaven, and Wings.
He
so
was?
he was just all these minor roles all the way through.
Man, I just realized we in a previous episode.
Oh man, King of
we
Queens.
interviewed Billy Vera
And forgot
for
to talk
45
about-
minutes and forgot to mention that he sang the theme song to
My
King
goodness,
of Queens.
that's right. We talked about that.
Jeez.
Ah man.
Well,
You wanna
listen,
call him up
guys.
real quick?
Hindsight's 20/20.
Billy Vera sang the theme song to King of Queens.
That's right.
All right, that's all.
That's good. David Thomas Davy Jones. Maracas on the album, bass on the video.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that.
He did something to that bass.
He did.
He violated it.
He died in 2012, which we didn't give him the ample credit for last time, as we killed Mickey Dolenz
Yeah, we
instead.
killed Mickey instead.
But Davy's the one who's no longer with us. In 1971, he did a TV show, Pop Goes Davy, which debuted two artists on his show that kicked off and went to be pretty big.
You tell.
Jackson 5 and the Osmonds. Both
really?
debuted on Pop Goes Davy.
Wow.
Got their start there.
That's impressive.
Yep, he sang a song on the Brady Bunch called "Girl," loved horses, and won his first race in 1996. But my favorite Davy Jones fact is David Bowie is named David Bowie because his name is Robert David Jones, but there was already a Davy Jones. So
I
he's
love
like,
stories like that.
He's like, I can't be Davy Jones. He's already out there. So I'll be David Bowie after Jim
Wow.
Bowie the knife.
That's crazy.
That is
That's
good.
awesome.
And then the last, I guess, band-ish member, I got a little Chip Douglas fact, and then we'll let Joey tell his Chip Douglas goodness.
Well, it's just a couple.
A treasure
It's a
trove.
couple of
Oh, man.
ramblings. It's some ramblings.
Okay, we'll let him ramble.
And you're
like I have.
probably about to hit it.
That he was the member of the Turtles, the
Yeah.
band The Turtles.
Yeah,
really?
the
He
bass
wrote,
player. Yeah.
he wrote Happy Together, and he
Really?
quit the Turtles to produce the Monkees.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did he go with like exclusively animal?
Oh, Turtles, Monkees.
If it don't sound like an animal
Yeah.
name, I won't have a part
Yeah,
of
he
it.
played with the Armadillos briefly. I believe. The only notes I had was his real name was Douglas Farthing Hatfield.
There we go.
The Chip Douglas is actually the character, one of the little boys from the show My Three Sons.
Okay.
It's also the character of Jim Carrey in The Cable Guy. Chip
What
Douglas.
in the world? How about that?
Yeah, so-
Another Jim Carrey reference.
Let's
Can
call
anybody
him.
do a Jim Carrey impression?
All you have to do is just make a bunch of weird
I
sounds
guess.
and then talk about how nothing means anything. And it depends on your
Bumblebee
Jim Carrey
tuna?
era, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Jim Carrey's impossible to do.
Yeah,
Right?
I guess. I was
How-
going to say he normally...
like, how-
Yeah, you
gonna
have to
do
do like
Jim
a Fire
Carrey?
Marshal Bill or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there
you
we
have,
go.
to, you have to
it.
do one of his characters.
That's
you can't
true.
really
You
just
can't
just-
be Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we've been doing Jim Carrey this whole time.
Whoa.
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 Wow.
That's pretty deep.
I mean, I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, I don't know where to go.
Shut it down.
It's so true. Just
You want to talk a
disrupted
little bit about the structure of the song, the theory of the song? Do you have anything on
Yeah.
that?
Okay. So here's what I think this is really interesting, and I have a borderline accusation to make about Jerry Goffin and Carole King.
Okay.
Borderline.
Okay.
But this song is obviously and admittedly based on I'm sorry, not the song, but the riff, the guitar part is admittedly based on a Beatles riff.
Play the riff just so that we can know what we're talking about.
Okay, let's-
This is just for the listener to refresh on what song we're talking about.
Sure. So here's the original riff to Pleasant Valley Sunday. Okay, so you get the idea. So yeah, it's based on the Beatles song "I Want to Tell You" from the album Revolver, which sounds like this. Yeah, and it's going to just sound like a kind of a slowed down version. It's a different feel to the song, but you're going to hear the similarity in the riff immediately. It's kind of startling the first time you hear it.
What song is this?
That is, I Want to Tell You, off the album Revolver.
It's George Harrison playing Pleasant Valley Sunday
Yeah. So-
on marijuana.
So I was a Monkees fan first, Monkees fan my whole life, and then in my like mid 20s I got into the Beatles. And so the first time I heard that song, I was like, "What is happening right now?" That's what I'm saying. That's Pleasant Valley Sunday. But yeah, so this came first, and it's pretty well documented. Like they're like, yeah, we base it. It's kind of like a faster version of that, and in a different.
At least
it's
they
not a different
didn't.
time signature, but it's a different groove for sure.
At least they didn't totally write it off and be like, oh, I've never heard that song.
Yeah, no, that was parallel thought, bro. Parallel thought.
And then the Beatles just sued the pants off. Of
Yeah, and then the Monkees didn't exist anymore.
That's what ended them.
Yeah. So the guitar riff is based on the Beatles. That and this is where the blue pill, red pill.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna need you guys to know that this is something you can't come back from.
Sure.
Okay, it's not that serious, but the melody on Pleasant Valley Sunday, it lands on the verses. The melody lands on a flat 7 chord over a 1 in the bass. So we're in the key of A in Pleasant Valley Sunday, and the melody's going da 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 ba 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 da ba da ba, and that chord there is a G over an A. So the A bass is still hitting an A, but it's a G chord over the top of it, and the melody fits that G chord. Okay, which is weirdly similar to another Beatles song
Pedal tone.
off the album Revolver. I feel like King and Goffin were maybe listening to a lot of Revolver because Got to Get You Into My Life does the same thing in the verse. Let's take a listen. I'm not flinging accusations here, but I'm just saying, I just think they were listening to a lot of Revolver.
I was alone, I took a ride, I didn't know what I would find there.
Oh, wow.
Another road where maybe I could see another kind of mind there.
So I'm not saying they like
And I
purposely did it. I just think they were maybe heavy into Revolver at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it's on purpose, but it's also but it's noticeable. Once you catch one, then you kind of catch the other. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my theory. There's some cool chord changes in here. There's a spot where most of the time when they switch, they kind of switch keys in the middle of the chorus. And just temporarily, and then they get back to what would be the original 5 chord to put them back to go into A. And then there's one time they switch
Yeah, the
in the
chorus
same
is in
spot.
C, right?
The chorus is in C. So they, in the middle of the chorus, they go from C to E, and that puts them back in
That's the
E.
5
That's the
of
5 of
the A.
of the verse to get back into A. But there's one spot toward the end of the song where, for absolutely no reason, they go to F. Instead, they temporarily shift in the key of F, and then you've got a B flat chord in there, and I don't know why, but they just do, and it's cool. And then they resolve it here instead of Cymbeline, and that note becomes the A that they land back on. It's genius, but it's just like, why'd they even think to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I haven't heard the Beatles do that. So
Right.
Take that,
Take that.
Paul and John.
Jerry, Gary, and Carole. Well done. Carol's got an E on it.
Carole, yeah.
Oh, it could be Carole.
Could be Carole.
Could be. We've got a lot of names wrong.
Carole King.
Carole King. Carole Kinge.
Got any nuggets of goodness there, Joey, left in the
No.
barrel? I got some facts about monkeys. If you wanna
Actual
hear,
monkeys?
Yeah, if you want to hear some facts about monkeys.
I'm
interested.
Wait.
I
you
have
got
one
something.
more monkeys related. If we're gonna get into actual primates, I have one more about Davy Jones. And
Okay.
I'm actually shocked that
That
you
I
didn't
didn't mention.
uncover this. Yes.
Okay, roll it.
Davy Jones appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show the same night that the Beatles did.
Whoa!
Yeah, I did.
Same night that the Beatles debuted
What?
on Ed Sullivan, February 9th, 1964, Davy
that's
Jones
awesome.
appeared in the original Broadway production of Oliver as the Artful Dodger.
Man.
He's on there singing, it's I'd anything for you. I'd do anything for you. Davy Jones on Ed Sullivan, same night as the Beatles.
How about that?
Crazy, right?
That's note of the podcast right there. That's
Yeah.
pretty neat. Good full circle.
Thank you. But why don't you tell us about some
I just wrote down a couple facts about
primates, you know.
monkeys. The smallest monkey in the world is 5 inches and can fit in your hand,
Aw.
and is the weight of a deck of cards.
Wow.
It's called the pygmy marmoset.
Sure.
The scientific name
Classic.
for gorilla is gorilla.
So that's like family, genus, species.
Yes, gorilla.
I feel like you got some bad information. Was that from a Waffle House
To
employee?
attract females.
Somebody just tell you like, Carol, what is this?
What's the scientific name for gorilla? Gorilla.
Like, all right, I'm writing it down.
I actually
Hey,
have
who was
a-
president in 1937?
Gorilla.
It's all the same. It's gorillas all the way down.
That's awesome. That's great. To attract females, males will urinate in their hands and rub it all over their fur.
Oh, who doesn't?
Yeah, that's how I got my now wife.
That's it. It's great.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So, that's what I got to close it out.
It's fantastic. Joe, you got any other notes for us?
Not really. The only thing I had written down was the name of the album, the Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Ltd. The only thing I can think of, there would have been 2 Capricorns.
Because
that's when they were born?
When they were born. Maybe that's why they did Jones, because he would have been the second Capricorn.
There you go. I was gonna say maybe they were using their characters had different birth dates than their actual selves, and they were so trying to. I don't know.
Mix it up. Why did they?
That
pick-
would have been
what-
deep. That
what
would have
do
been
they
deep
pick-
cut. Like, no, actually, your character wasn't born then.
You were born January.
Like, no, this guys, don't think about it too much. This is just to sell lunchboxes. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only reason you exist.
I wonder how they picked who would get their last name on there. Like, how did they pick David?
Surely it had to be just sound. You know what I mean?
think?
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause-
Torque sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but like Nesmith is
Nesmith,
terrible.
you don't have a chance.
Dolan's, no. Like Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Nesmith. Nah.
Yeah, well, the 2 Capricorns would have been Davy Jones and Mike Nesmith, and they're actually born both on December 30th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid
Same-
stat to round out the podcast.
Same
Not
year.
the same year. Nesmith he was born in 42, and Jones was born in 45.
That's 3 years difference. I'm a math major.
Yes, that's right.
There you
That's
go.
right. Thank you.
Solid.
Torque was the oldest one
Of the 4.
of the 4, yeah. Or Thorkelson.
That's right. Peter
Thorkelson.
Thorkelson. Gorilla.
All right. Man, I feel like this has been informative and fun.
And all over the place.
It's kind of been like a water park, but where they had a lot of facts about the slides, that you could just learn while you were just having a blast.
I wish they had those inside the slide.
While you're going down?
Like,
Plastic polymer.
Gorilla.
slide closed for construction.
That's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Great Song Podcast. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you're listening. We really appreciate you giving us an hour of your time this week.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Joey.
That's right.
Thanks for having me,
Joey
guys.
this week.
It's great meeting two of my heroes, my
Sure.
podcasting heroes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, I got nothing. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob.
I'm JP.
Go listen to some music.